All right, we are back. Welcome to Workshop Wednesdays, presented to you by Advantage Grants, the grant blueprint, all powered by Anderson Consulting Group here in Ohio. And if there are going to be any issues with live production, it's going to be technology. Plain and simple as that. So where we have been delayed by technical issue after technical issue, we finally welcome you to Workshop Wednesday so that you have an opportunity to learn how to grow funding for your nonprofit organization. Yes. So my name is Kendra Anderson, your illustrious host and curator of the Grant Blueprint. This being our, if this makes sense, right? Second inaugural Workshop Wednesday, then that's what it is. Our second inaugural Workshop Wednesday, so that nonprofit founders, executives, workers, program managers, grant writers understand that grant funding is attainable for those organizations that are intentional about taking the time to get themselves grant ready. That is crucial to the process of securing grant dollars. The other items, or let's kind of stick to the agenda. So our agenda, just we just went through our introductions, but basically, or I should say, next on the agenda, Advantage Grants. Who is Advantage Grants? We are the premier provider of grant writing services in Northeast Ohio. However, our clientele base is not limited to Northeast Ohio. We have clients across these United States of America. And we have successfully been able to secure funding for our clients pre AI. I'm going to stress that throughout this particular workshop, pre AI, to the tune of a little bit more than $10 million. And that's just in the housing space. We are probably successfully sitting at 15 million secured over the past 7 years. And that's some of my colleagues that are heavy hitters, that's just a drop in a bucket for them. But for uh, a small practice uniquely situated in Northeast Ohio, about $15 million is nothing to blink an eye at. So, with Advantage Grants and us working with a variety of nonprofits from small size to mid sized nonprofits, one of the things that we constantly come across is are individuals and organizations who are looking for grant dollars, but they are not ready to approach a funder. And those are crucial steps if we're going to be able to successfully complete a grant application for your organization, submit it to a funder, and expect for you to be able to secure the dollars that you need to drive impact in your community or wherever your target audience is. This next item on the agenda talks about Anderson Consulting Group, and that's where we started with Anderson Consulting Group, working in that space to educate and train and start, help individuals and or groups of individuals come together to start nonprofit, to incorporate them in their various states. So whether it's Ohio, Kentucky, Delaware, Rhode Island, California, Texas, the state of New York, the state of Illinois, we have assisted agencies with incorporating their nonprofits, and that's just filing the necessary incorporation paperwork, as well as getting them started with their boards and getting the boards trained, putting that initial scaffolding around nonprofit business entities. And the next steps that they take is entirely up to that group once that group has been convened and properly trained and given their responsibilities. All right, so yes, so I cannot stress enough that this workshop Wednesday and future workshop Wednesday are primarily geared towards nonprofit organizations. We do not write grants for individuals. There are other entities and individuals that write grants for individuals, but we do not. We write grants for nonprofit 501c3 tax exempt corporations that have been recognized by the Internal Revenue Service as having a 501c3 tax exempt status and fully incorporated in the state where you will primarily do business. Fully incorporated in the state where you will primarily do business. Fully incorporated means that you are registered with the Secretary of State, you are registered with your city, and you are registered with the Attorney General of your state that oversees charitable and tax exempt entities. So, fully incorporated nonprofit organizations, and as well as having the IRS determination as exempt status. That's who we write grants for. All right. So as people are writing us at the Grant Blueprint, people are writing us at Advantage Grants or messaging us on Facebook Messenger. I want a grant. I'm looking for a grant. We do not write grants for individuals. There are other people that do that, and you just have to kind of search them out. And in this particular age of AI, you should, with all of the AI work that's being done in ChatGPT and Claude, you should be able to successfully navigate those systems and write individual grants for yourself. No, we do not know who funds those grants. That's not our um, role either to identify who funds grants for individuals. Again, put the AI to work for you and search out who provides grants to individuals in your area, and they can assist you with that, finding that out. All right. So again, we want to jump into the purpose for our purpose for our call today is just to kind of launch a conversation around the master grant blueprint template that we are releasing, or that we have released, to assist novice grant writers and emerging nonprofit organizations with creating your story on paper. Again, that's something that AI can't necessarily do. You have to know your why. And then you tell AI your why, and AI will spit it out back to you in a professional tone or RFP focused tone. But you need to know your why. And that's what the Master Grant Blueprint template is about, to help you unlock funding with clarity and confidence, and to assist you with getting grant ready and staying grant ready. You just don't get a grant and then all of a sudden you're off to the races. That's not how that works. And to get you successfully funded the first time that you submit a grant, if you follow the instructions in the Master Grant Blueprint template, create your story, which is what it's designed to do, or help you do, pull out, extract out of you your vision, and you submit a grant application to a funder, I'm pretty confident that you'll get funded. I'm pretty confident that that'll happen for you. And then also the Master Grant Blueprint template, there's none other like it anywhere in the country. as far as I'm concerned. And it will also help assist you with getting a master file, creating a master file for your nonprofit, which is very critical and paramount to if you are looking for funding. You have to have a master file in your office with all of your pertinent information. Now, if you want to know what makes up the master file, visit us on the web, www.advantagegrants.com. There you can download and for free the master file checklist. That'll help you begin to start assembling documents for your master file. That's your freebie. There are other freebies listed on our website at www.advantagegrants.com. And I believe if you go to Facebook and look up the Grant Blueprint, look up that page, there's a link to our Stand store, and there are other freebies listed on our Stand store. You just log in to go to the Stand store, go to the Grant Blueprint page, and you'll see a list of freebies that says grab yours today, and that will help you. Okay, so let's jump into this Grant Blueprint. Let me stop sharing my screen here and go to the let's jump into the master grant. So I have to go back to sharing my screen. Technology, technology, technology. What would we do without it? Okay, here we are. Great. Now let's talk a little bit. So this master grant, again, proposal template is for emerging nonprofit organizations, but in their first 5 years of existence. I'm going to enlarge some of this. This will assist your organization, as it says, a step-by-step guide with fill-in-the-blank framework and a real case study. That's what I know that sets this apart, is because it is a real case study, and that's the best way to present, to help you create your own story, is looking at another nonprofit similar to yours and what it is that they do, and that's going to help you pull your story together. So again, this master grant template is a step-by-step guide. And the feature case study organization that we use in this, all throughout this document, is Greystone Community Development Corporation. This is a fictitious organization, but it is built around work that they would be doing in the community. And so we place them in Upper Manhattan, New York, and it's the flagship program that they have. Is their employment readiness project. They have an annual budget of $2.5 million, and the co-founders of the organization, Sonia Gray and Kathy Stone, hence Greystone Community Development Corporation. All right. Our information is listed here. Now, one of the things that I did say is that this master grant proposal template, it is available for sale. That's why we're here on Workshop Wednesday. It's available for sale. Our introductory price, $2,250. $2,250. This 26-page document, step-by-step guide for you and your team to go through to build and tell your story, which will help you fill out most local government, city, county, and state agency applications. All right. Now, we have successfully used this to help other nonprofit organizations secure funding from as low as $5,000 to as high as $25,000, $50,000. This template comes with very detailed instructions. How do you use it? How to use this template? It's all spelled out here. Now, one of the other things I think it's important to mention before we do a deep dive, uh, and not so much of a deep dive because we're going to come back next Wednesday to talk, have session 2 or 3 or whatever you want to call it. But with grant writing or writing grants or securing grant funds, you must read. You must read all instructions in the RFP, in the grant application. AI can do it for you, but AI misses things. And we already put AI, we put a couple of AI models, Chat GPT, Claude, and I forgot the other one. We put them through a litmus test with 2 different type of RFPs, and each one of the models missed certain parts of the grant application. So again, you can rely on AI if you want to, but rest assured that you and your team, you must read. The other thing that you and your team must be able to do is you must be able to write. And that's why the template is designed to help you write. But if you're not a reader, if you are a point and click nonprofit, if you are a point and click individual, meaning that you won't put yourself in a quiet environment and sit down and put your head down and do the work with reading and writing, then this is not the space for you. Then maybe you should go and find something to do like 500-piece puzzles or something a little bit more tactful. But I'm telling you now, if you are looking into getting a grant application and getting funded through a grant from a nonprofit or from the government, particularly from the government or a private foundation, say like the Ann Casey Foundation or just say the Walmart Foundation, even with the Walmart Foundation, you have to read all of the instructions more than once, and you have to write. It's just plain, there's no way around it when you start talking about putting words on paper and someone sending you a check and they never laid eyes on you. You must read and write. There's no way around it. So that's why, hence, it says how to use this template. You have to read the instructions. And this was actually written at a 12th grade reading level. That's the other thing. This is written at a 12th grade reading level. So up your reading game. So the master grant, it says this master grant proposal template is designed specifically for nonprofit organizations in their first 5 years of operation. Each section follows the structure that local government agencies, city, county, and state most commonly require, in their RFP responses and grant applications. And it says what you will find in each section. Each section has an overview, a grant readiness checklist tied to it, a case study, and your turn where you actually, immediately after you read, then you'll do a fill in the blank, if you remember that in school, because this is how you learn. You read and then you make application. You read and do. You read and do. And then we have tips for success. So we've spelled out here for you about introduction to the case study, the organization that we're using, Greystone Community Development Corporation, that was incorporated in 2018. So you could read about that. And then it says, before you begin, we take each section of the grant readiness checklist and say, before you begin, this is what you need to do to complete your grant readiness assessment, gather your mission, vision, value statement, have your most recent IRS $9.90. If you're a new organization, this won't apply, but know your target population and have at least 2 or 3 data points about your target population to document what it is they need. Now, your target population is maybe it's the people that you're going to serve or the cause that you're going to support. Are you going to serve, you know, youth that age out of foster care that are unemployed or and are without unsheltered or unhoused? Is that your target population? Or are you going to support causes that save the fish from polluted and contaminated waters? What's your target population or your cause? Identify your key program staff and their qualifications before you start writing. So, who's going to do the work? Because you, as the founder and the executive director, are you going to do the work, or are you going to hire people to do the work with you, or are you going to rely on volunteers? That's important too. But in the event that you do have volunteers, there's still a certain value attached to their labor. We could talk about that later, the volunteer, to show how that works. And then confirm all your statistics that you're going to have that are not more than 5 years old, right? So again, just a quick overview of this grant. We take you through section by section, the executive summary, what you need with your grant readiness checklist. Then we break out the case study so that you can start reading and understanding who they're serving, which is, again, an employment readiness project. We identify immediately that they're serving adult ages 18 to 25 in Upper Manhattan that are looking to enter into the workforce. And then, like I said, immediately after you read that, you need to, here's an example of your turn. You fill in the executive summary for your own organization. You create, what is your statement of need? How do you plan to resolve the issue or problem? What are your goals? How are you going to measure what it is that you do that is effective? If you give out meals to the homeless every Saturday, how many meals do you prepare? How many meals do you give out? What are the demographics of the people that you serve? Did you just go to all the women's shelter, or did you go to the family shelter that has men, women, and children? Or did you just go to the men's shelter? All right. And then if you were taking a detailed look at the men that you were giving out those breakfast items to, what did it look like? What was the makeup of the demographic? Was it mixed race, uh, mixed ages? Was the youngest man that you served meals to 18 or 19 years old? So take a look. You should know that when you're doing that. All right, and then your executive summary will have a call to action where we invite you to support this effort. So at the top is an example of an executive summary from our case study. And then you, once you get the template, download it, pay for it, download it, you start doing your own writing, and then we provide you with tips for a strong executive summary that you do. Tips that you need. Then it goes on to the next section to talk about your organizational overview and history. Who is your organization? Where are you located? What do you do? So we give you overview with that. Again, we come back down, a case study from your case study, their organizational history, then their mission and vision. Then we invite you to create one for your own, a fill in the blank. Again, this is all science-based, how you learn. I didn't mention that I'm a former educator, so understanding how you learn and how you best capture and apply what you learn. That's why this template is put around that. You read and then you actually do it for yourself, but you do it all right here in one complete document, and then we provide you with some tips. All right. Now, this also will provide, go through your agency-wide qualification and organizational capacity. How do you know that you're qualified to do what you do? What are your qualifications? That needs to be extracted out of you. What you've done in your professional career, what is your education, what is your work experience. So we could, we pull all of that out of you, even your passion. Well, I just like to help people. I just have a passion for it. So we take your passion and we put it into language that funders understand, and it makes sense to them that they want to know more about you. So you can have a strong, you've heard other Pat things, passion with purpose, turning your passion into purpose, turning this into that. All of that's all you can be excited and want to help and have a heart for unhoused dogs or stray cats. But how do you make that make sense to the what's the name of the people that make the dog food and they have a grant that they give out to help you with your animal shelter? So I just always love cats. Okay, but you can't put that in the grant application. You have to put that where it says funders invest in organizations, not just program. So we have to extract all of your qualifications. So did you have a cat walking service or a cat babysitting service when you were a teenager? So if you did, let's extract that out of you and put it into language that a funder will write you a check to continue your cat sitting service and pay your organization to help control the population of stray cats. Again, case study example of the section above, then you turn around and do it for your own agency so it's repetitive because you learn by repeating patterns. This master grant blueprint is full of patterns to help you learn how to properly write a grant that someone will read and score it and write you a check. All right. So this is section 4 to talk about the statement of need. And that brings us to our, let me stop sharing my screen because then we go back to, one moment. See, this is where we need technical support to come in or technical assistance. We go back to sharing our screen, or at least I thought. Here we are, sharing that. Okay. So taking you through, so that the master grant, let me go back to the previous, how do we go back to? There it is. The master grant, that was a sneak peek look at it. Yes. 26-page document. We won't go over all 26 pages in this section. We're going to come back to you next week to talk more about section by section and why it's important that the nonprofit have these sections already kind of written down somewhere, what we call a boilerplate. So the master grant blueprint template is ultimately a boilerplate for your nonprofit that is needed so that as you get multiple grant applications or start looking at a grant application, you can just fill it out. You're not thinking it through because you've already done the work with the master grant blueprint template. Our introductory price, like I said, yes, the price is locked in until the end of the month, $2,250. You can go to our website or our stand store, download it, pay for it, download it. There are no payment plans, so you have to get your money up. You have to get your money up because this is an investment. Grants are not free. Let's deal with that right now. Grants are not free. I'm dismantling that misnomer. Grants are not free. Grant writers do not work for free. I'm dismantling that. Grant writers are not paid out of your grant. Your grant is, when you get funded, is to deal strictly with what you said you were going to do with it, not pay a grant writer. So if you cannot afford a grant writer, get your money up. And I'm talking about a professional grant writer. Get your money up. If you cannot afford the Master Grant Blueprint template as an investment into your business, get your money up because grants are not free. Writing them is not free. Again, if you have to take the time to read through an RFP, that's a grant writer's time. And then sitting down with your organization to understand what it is that you do and putting it in the language that the RFP says that they want it in. They don't want it in your language about you cat sitting when you were 13 and 12 years old for your neighbors when they went on vacation, and now you want to open up an animal shelter because you still have a passion for it. They don't write checks for that. They do, but it's a way that you express that to the funder. All right. So you can book a session with us at www.advantagegrants.com. I think for the month of July, America 250, we're still running a special where you can book a 30-minute session. There are paid sessions. So with that, visit us at www.advantagegrants.com and we'll have some more tools for you. Also visit our stand store and take a look around at the stand store. Several freebies on the website. If you go scroll down and go to download, there's some things that you can download for free there. We have a variety of free tools that we provide to nonprofit organizations as and individuals who are looking to start a nonprofit. All right. So this was again, we had technical difficulties today. We apologize about that. Those technical difficulties are frustrating. They take away from your time and your attention. So we apologize about all of the technical difficulties and hope that you will join us next Wednesday, I believe, July 22nd, 3 o'clock, 3:33 p.m. and the 3:33 p.m. in the Post Meridian for the next workshop Wednesday so that we can help. Let me go back to my meeting here. Nonprofits secure the funding that they are seeking. Even on the website is where you can access this link to Workshop Wednesdays. All righty. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And we will see you again. Workshop Wednesdays. Getting your nonprofit grant ready with the Master Grant